Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. This is game 2 this evening, an adventure that I have entitled Whac-A-Mole. But before we dive into the adventure, I want to take a brief moment to introduce our 4 lovely characters, and of course their players, who are joining us this evening in this adventure. First, we have a newcomer to the lands of D&D Time, but maybe not maybe a returning player. We have Russula Mycota. Have I pronounced that right, Russula?
You certainly have.
Oh, Russula, how are you? I see you're a mushroom person. There have been a lot of mushroom people around lately.
Yes, I even look like a poisonous mushroom.
Are you poisonous?
And I've heard about... I don't actually know. I haven't tried to nibble my head self.
Well, I imagine you wouldn't poison yourself, would you?
But things don't seem eager to bite me because I look like a poisonous mushroom.
Oh, it's a protective thing. Well, Russula, welcome. I guess I must ask, we have a lot of adventurers that come through the adventuring company, and some people are in it for the personal glory, some for power, some for treasure. What brings you out onto the field of adventure?
So, part of me is actually adventuring around because of my friend. She got involved in some of the crazy stuff near the haunted manor thing. This Lady Tiki, she helps with the orphanage in the town that is my hometown, and so she is kind of scared to come back. So I volunteered to come in to help get stuff for the orphanage.
Oh, all right. So this is a purely selfless act of yours. You're coming out, doing these adventures to really make some money and make a difference in the world to some people.
I mean, it's not the only reason. I mean, I want to also find a place that I can call my own, that I can protect because I am a druid, but I haven't found the place that calls to me. And also I paint, and so I use the paintings to help donate, to help get stuff to donate to the orphanage, and I'll also paint the orphanage walls and stuff, or paint toys.
I see. Well, Russula, I wish you the best in your first adventure here. I mean, you're heading somewhere. I don't know. I'm not sure what qualifies to you as home, but it qualifies to someone as a very beloved home today. So maybe that can give you some inspiration for what you're looking for. And of course, welcome.
Me.
Our next hero this evening is Granny Serialmassacre. Granny, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Now, Granny, I know you come from the Baradak, right? The Baradak swamp area?
Yes.
And I know that there are a lot of families out there that have, maybe names that might mislead them, right? Mislead the reader as to, or the listener, right? As to maybe what they're known for. Granny, where did the name Serialmassacre come from?
Oh, I can't rightly tell you.
Been a long time?
Yes.
So it's a family name.
I knew once, but I've forgotten, sadly.
Oh, I'm sorry, Granny. Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, your adventure tonight's going to bring you to an old friend of yours, another elderly wizard by the name of Grandarf. You're familiar, right?
Yes, I'm familiar with Grandarf. She's a nice cat lady.
I'm glad you get along. I know she's very close with Crazy Cat Lady. And do you know Crazy Cat Lady?
I've heard of her. She's a little crazy.
Yeah, she's definitely a little. I've heard she steals cats too, so be careful. Well, Granny, I always ask what adventurers are out adventuring in the lands of D&D Time for, and being such a venerable, right, older woman, I kind of wonder the same thing for you. But what I'm really more interested in is, what do you do outside of adventuring? What is the life of Granny Serialmassacre like? Just like the quick version.
Well, I do a lot of knitting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Is it just lots of knitting?
well, knitting takes a long time.
That's very fair. I heard there's like a coven of older wizards, older female wizards, who make all those crazy tapestries that you see throughout the lands. Are you in with that group?
Oh yes, we make all those fancy tapestries that people see.
And you don't care if they're evil tapestry, like for bad people or for good. You just want to make the tapestries.
Yes.
I completely understand that. Well, Granny, welcome back. If I need any tapestries ever, I'll be sure to let you know. And I wish you the best in your adventure this evening. Hopefully you can, I don't know, maybe have some tea and catch back up with an old friend.
That would be nice, thank you.
Our next hero this evening is the big old tree man, Odowodus. Odowodus, I'm sorry, does it offend you if I call you the big old tree man, or is that okay?
I mean, I am big, not particularly old. You're a little off on that bit. And a tree man. So it's mostly accurate.
Now, Odowodus, I don't mean to offend, but like, how old are you? I know tree age is probably a little different than like people age.
Well, yeah, I'm not terrible. Things get a little weird because, well, at least where I'm from, I think I kind of started as just a tree for a little bit. So,
oh, wait, so you didn't always realize that you were a walking, talking tree?
Oh, I mean, as a seedling, there's not a lot of walking and talking that you are able to do. So things are slightly fuzzy from that time.
It's really strange to say that because, and this is, I understand that you being a tree, you might not understand this, but human children are really the opposite. I mean, after like a year or two, all they want to do is run around and yell. It's really strange.
We sometimes go much slower.
Well, Odowodus, I guess welcome back. Have you done anything good, by the way, since your last adventure? I probably should have asked everyone this. Just polite. Anything fun?
Well, it has been a little cold, and I've been trying not to be terribly frozen, which is perhaps slightly more important than fun.
You know what? I get you there. What's weird is trees lose all their protective, like, warming leaves. All the other creatures grow extra hair and stuff, but I don't understand why trees lose their leaves when it gets cold. It's just weird to me. Well, either way, Odowodus.
Well, I may be able to help. You see, when it's cold, there's this really weird thing where, like, the rain comes down, but it's not liquid. And that sometimes hurts.
I got you. It just shreds you. Oh, that's rough. I couldn't even imagine. Well, Odowodus, I'm so sorry. We'll try not to get you in any icy adventures in the future if we can help it. And before next adventure is a frozen adventure. Anyway, welcome back. It's great to see you, and I hope you have a good one this evening. And last but certainly not the least, returning, we have Clementine. Clementine, how are you?
Hello, how's it going?
I mean, Clementine is going great. How about yourself?
Just been busy killing zombies over here.
Yeah, how long have you been killing those zombies? Because they just keep on coming.
Since forever. I mean, I'm part of the TV show The Walking Dead, so yeah, since forever. Since how many years?
I was wondering why you have those like all those hirelings following you around with that weird scrying orb all the time. It's just in case you kill any undead, they can clip that little scried scene and put it into their thing.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm. So I guess what is it like being I guess a star in that way, right? Hundreds of people, maybe dozens of people see you and your exploits. How does it feel?
I mean, it's TV. I mean, I've been part of other TV shows, so
Oh.
I'm used to it, but I wish I didn't get as much fame as I would have.
Is the fame a good thing or a bad thing in this case?
Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad. This time it's pretty bad.
Oof. Well, I'm really sorry, Clementine. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm sure that maybe taking a little. Gosh, the Bartholomew's Adventurers. Maybe Bartholomew's Adventurers as a group is more famous, so you'll kind of blend in. Maybe.
I think so.
Kind of incognito here.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, I hope it helps, and I hope that maybe you have a pleasant little break from the zombie killing. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some zombies in this adventure. I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, let's jump right in. It is a beautiful sunny day in Central City, something of a burgeoning metropolis of the lands of DnDTime. Carts roll down cobbled streets, and people travel to and fro, some on street corners hawking their wares, looking for people to buy. Extra, extra, read all about it. Mort's robbed the Central City Bank. But you're not here for the hawkers selling their broadsheet papers. You're not here for the pleasant lemonade being sold at Little Lemmy's lemonade stand, although maybe you stop and get a cup. No, you're heading to the suburbs of Central City, where you're set to meet a woman, an older human woman by the name of Grandarf. She's something of a... Well, not a super well-known wizard, but a spellcaster nonetheless. And apparently, she's good friends with old Bartholomew. So you're doing this one not pro bono. Bartholomew's still paying you, but Grandarf isn't paying anything to Bartholomew, which is a very, very rare occurrence. And so as you leave the more bustling areas of Central City into the more pleasant suburbs, still many streets, but you see greenery in the form of trees and nice long yards. There are beautiful whitewashed picket fences. It's kind of your idyllic suburb. And so as we make it kind of out there, you hear the birds chirping and little friendly wind blows through the air. The sound of the city dies away, and you approach the home of Grandarf. What do you want to do?
I'm just gonna go ahead and walk up and knock on the door like usual.
Yeah, so you walk up. There's, of course, a little white picket fence. There is, I assume you open the gate to the fence. You don't just smash through the fence Kool-Aid Man style? Or do you? I don't know. I don't want to speak for you.
No.
How tall is the fence?
The fence is about 3.5 feet. You could probably hop over it. It's meant to probably...
Odowodus just steps over it.
That's almost taller than me.
So Odowodus, you step over the fence. Clementine?
I'm just gonna see if I can budge the door not the door, the fence open.
I mean, yeah, you see it has like a latch. You could just open it if you want.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, yeah. You unlatch it like a normal person and open the door. And I assume Russula and Granny, you follow along?
Yes, Granny follows along.
All right.
Granny, here, I have a question. So you do yarn, right? Do you think you can maybe like later donate some like sweaters or blankets to the orphanage back in my hometown?
Of course, just put it in an order with Bartholomew.
Okay.
And yeah, you enter into the front yard of Grandarf. You see that it's fairly small. It's only about 10 feet to the front door. There's a little brick path that leads right up to it. You see a mat placed out in front that reads Home Sweet Home on it, a little doormat. There are some shrubs outside, and you see there's one window that faces the front of the house. There's also a brick chimney on the side. But from the window on the front, you can see into a small living room. There's a little table set up, and there's some curtains, and it looks like a pleasant little space. Who wants to walk up? I assume someone walks up to the door and knocks. Clementine?
I'm playing hopscotch with the bricks, trying not to step on the cracks.
Russula, you step on the cracks!
Oh, no! My non-existent mother!
Granny, you're taking the lead then? You're walking up and knocking?
Yeah. Odowodus just, would you like a hand? And reaches down towards Russula.
Grab.
I'm just gonna stand next to Granny because that's kind of what I do is follow other people.
Just a small note, Russula's just like barely an adult.
Yeah, so this tiny little mushroom person is just, you were trying to hop over all the bricks, but now you're just kind of being carried over them, I imagine, by Odowodus. But meanwhile, Granny and Clementine, like normal human beings, walk up to the door and knock. There's a, just a moment, and you hear a shuffling from inside the house. You hear this like click, click, click sound, and you hear it kind of get a little louder, and then you hear the door open up, and you see before you an older woman. She's wearing a big old dress that it's light blue. It has purple flowers all over it with little yellow centers to them. Besides that, she's got a very kind of shrinkled up face, lots of wrinkles, signs of age, right? She's got big, poofy, curly gray hair that's tied back in a little bit of a neat bun. And she's got these big circular glasses that kind of make her eyes almost look like they're bugging out a little bit because they magnify so much. And yeah, she looks at you. Oh, you must be Bartholomew's friends. I'm Grandarf.
Pretty.
Why,
Your dress is very pretty.
I got it at that nice new place down the road. Please, come in. And she's got a little cane, which to the more maybe magically minded of you, Granny Serialmassacre and Russula, probably not Russula. Granny, you can tell it's probably like a wand or a staff cane. So it's probably a magical focus of some kind. It's got some very nice gilding at kind of the base toward it. But she starts click, click, and you can hear the clicking as her cane upon the floor, which is nice hardwood. And she kind of, oh, please come in, make yourselves at home. You might need to duck, dear, she says, looking up toward you, Odowodus, through the doorway. The door is about 5'5", so even most of you have to duck a little bit. Because she's very...
I don't have to duck.
Transfers Russula from hand to hand and then reaches to the door.
Yeah, so Granny, you're right at home walking in here. It's perfect for you. It's very cozy. Yeah. Odowodus, you're like, are you hunched over like squat walking in, or are you just like sitting outside by the window?
No, Odowodus, make sure that everybody gets in, and then just slowly lies down on his side and pokes his head through the door.
Excellent, beautiful. So yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, and you can see inside. You can see that there's a fairly nice. Well, it was once nice. It's a little old at this point. Couch looks kind of dusty, like maybe it's not used super frequently. There's a rocking chair, which is used very frequently. It's very, very worn on the little seat of it. And you can see on it, there's a yarn ball and some sewing needles on there, or what do you call the little knitting thingies that I don't know the word for because I'm a bad preparer.
Knitting needles.
Thank you, knitting needles. There's a lovely coffee table, which is just kind of a simple wooden, nice mahogany table. And on the walls, there are some fine tapestries that are probably just generic tapestries you would buy somewhere. They aren't like super religious. They aren't super fancy or decorative. They're just something to have, depicting probably like Central City and, it's kind of like the I love New York kind of thing. But yeah, you all make yourselves at home. Odowodus, you lie down, and Grandarf says, would anyone like some tea or biscuits?
Oh yes, I would love that.
I wouldn't mind. And then Rufa's gonna sit on the dusty couch like he's at home.
Oh, you plop down on the couch and it poof, like a little bit of dust poofs up. Like, all right.
Just like the cave.
So everyone would like some tea then? I'll get the biscuits. And she kind of begins to walk through it like a little arched doorway into what is obviously the kitchen beyond. While she does that, however, Odowodus, at the doorway opens up into this living room, but about a couple feet further in, right, there's a staircase going up to what would be a second floor of the house. And so your head's kind of like at the base of the second floor, and you're kind of, or the base of the stairs, rather. And you're looking in, and everything's fine. Everyone's sitting down. You see Russula kind of bouncing up and down on the couch a little bit, getting comfy, and everyone else is finding a nice place to sit. But then you hear a sound. And you kind of look up the stairs from your lying down position, and there's a cat, like, full pounce, ready to leap down on you from up there. What do you do?
Oh, hello, friend.
It leaps onto your face.
I just kind of reach up and pat the cat gently.
Okay. It begins to scratch at you as though you are a scratching post.
And just grab the cat, lift the cat up a little. No.
Let's see if you take any damage.
That's not a scratching post. That's a person.
You take... No, it doesn't do any damage to you. It misses you with the attack. So it just tries to scratch you a little bit, and then, Granny, you say some words, and it looks over and kind of hops down and trots over, all happy with itself, having made a dramatic entrance. Odowodus, it, like, hurts you, but it doesn't do any damage to you. And yeah, it hops over. And Granny, are you sitting on the couch, or did you take a rocking chair?
Granny's sitting on the couch.
Okay, it just plops onto your lap and starts purring, and takes a nap. A few moments later, Grandarf re-enters. Oh, well. And she's got in her hand a tray of cookies, and she's actually probably left her cane in the kitchen, and she's got a tray of cookies, right, and a tea set on a nice platter, and she comes in and puts them down on the coffee table, and she goes and starts pouring tea for everyone and hands out all that stuff, and says, well, anyhow, thank you all for coming. I could use your help, though. As I'm sure you know, Bartholomew is an old friend of mine. And, well, whenever I'm having too much trouble with something, he'll usually send someone to help. And I'm having a little trouble in my garden, actually.
In your garden? What's going on in your garden?
What, there are these terrible moles that have started growing up. I got some fancy fertilizer from in the city. One of those kind morts helped me bring it over. And I planted everything, and everything was doing well, and now there are all these terrible moles.
Well, I know we can help.
Well, that's what I was hoping. She kind of laughs to herself a little bit, sipping some tea. She's sat in her rocking chair now and is sipping her tea. For anyone who likes tea, it's pretty generic, like, it's an herbal tea of some kind. Actually, it's probably like an Earl Grey tea. It's probably not an herbal tea. The biscuits are simple biscuits. They're just for
tea is tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely. It's very hot. You can see her like using some magic to heat her tea up a little bit more, so it gets piping. And she just kind of sips her tea for a little bit. And what do you all do? I mean, do you try and talk to her anymore, or do you want to just get right to work?
Odowodus tries to look as much into the room as he can and see if there are any flowers that are inside the house.
Yeah, I think there's probably a vase that has some flowers in it.
Odowodus will druid craft up those flowers so that they're looking better than they ever had been.
Yeah, they were like very wilted, like they haven't been taken care of in a while, or like replaced in a bit. So you reach out your twiggy finger, and with a casting of your druid craft, the flowers whoop, kind of unwilt, returning to a more enriched form.
That is better.
And Grandarf starts to talk to you all again if no one else has anything to bring up. And she says, "So, how long have you all been adventuring with Bartholomew?"
I just started because the orphanage is running out of money.
Oh no! What? The poor orphans. What's wrong?
The town hasn't been getting a lot of influx of import and export, and so Lady Tiki's doing hunting and stuff to try and keep them fed and stuff. And so I'm out here trying to,
It appears she's fallen asleep. She is just kind of lying in her rocking chair, just.
Okay, let's deal with the problem.
Yes,
Okay.
probably deal with it while she takes her nap. And Granny tries to gently set the cat that was on her lap onto Grandarf's lap.
We're just gonna wander outside.
Roll me an animal handling check, Granny. But I'm gonna give you advantage because this is stuff I think Granny Serialmassacre would have advantage on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay, yeah. You the cat gives you a look as you go to lift it up, oh, what are you doing? And then you put him down. All right. It gives you okay, fine, look, and just curls back up. Grandarf is still asleep. She doesn't seem to have noticed.
Granny grabs a blanket and wraps it around Grandarf. All right, now let's go deal with those pesky moles.
All right. You walk
already out there.
Yeah, well, I think as you walk out, because there's no way to get to the backyard of this place from the front. It's one of those kind of buildings where things are just too tight. But you go through the back door and you enter into the backyard of Grandarf's house. You pass through the kitchen. There's a really nice, really piping hot, looks like blueberry pie sitting on the shelf, just kind of cooling in the open window. Yeah, you guys walk out of the backyard, and as you look around, it's a pretty large space. There's all sorts of plants growing around, right? All sorts of greenery, beautiful, colorful flowers and things. But a couple things are really out of place. First, there are holes all over the place. Just these big, maybe, I don't know, 10, 12-inch diameter holes in the ground, just all over, everywhere. You can see it in the garden, just out in the yard. Yeah, there's no shortage of these holes. And second, she's got kind of two areas of her garden. To the left side of the yard, right, is the flower garden. That's where we see all of the flowers and other beautiful shrubs and all that. To the right is a vegetable garden. And you can see that almost all of the vegetables have been picked clean. And actually, as you step out there, you see a mole. Its head just kind of poking up out of one of the holes in the vegetable garden. And it's got these tiny little mole paws that it has reached out and it is pulling a carrot out of the ground as you walk out there.
I'm going to try and pick it up.
It is probably about 30 feet from where you are right now, out in the garden. Because you've just exited the house. Mm-hmm. Also, with all of the holes around, the grass and the backyard is pretty much all difficult terrain. But
can I use a javelin to throw it? Or kill it?
Oh my god! I mean, if you'd like, you absolutely could, Clementine. I know, Russula, it sounded like you still wanted to run at this guy anyway and see if you could grab him.
I have a dart.
Oh my god! All right, so you guys, you exit out the backyard, and all of you just immediately bristling with weapons, just whip them at this poor mole. Am I hearing correctly? I'm fine with it. If that's what you're doing.
Odowodus wonders exactly how he got through the house. perhaps just like
Army
in the
crawl
middle. Is Granny like in the middle of a block, or is there...
No, I think you probably could have gone around the neighbor's yard and over the fence. So there's like a child's like swing set in the backyard, and there's like a little kid like blowing a big bubble of bubble gum, swinging on it, la 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 la, and then like you walk through a giant tree monster, and it's just they just kind of stop swinging and they're looking at you and like, what? And they're just blowing that bubble, which, and then it pops all over their face, and they're just still frozen in shock. And this huge tree man just boom, 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 walks by.
Hello.
I'm just gonna go ahead and use Druid craft on the vegetable garden.
Okay, so you're still approaching the scene. Okay, so Russula, you want to try and Druid craft the vegetable garden. Granny, what would you like to do as you see this mole? Anything at all, or are you just cool with it as it is?
Granny's gonna try to mage hand the mole.
You're gonna try and mage hand the mole?
Yeah, pick it up.
I love it. I love it. Okay. This is amazing. All right. So we got a mage hand the mole. We have a druid craft the garden. And Clementine, you're going to try and whip that javelin?
Yeah.
Okay. So what order do we want to do this in? You guys tell me whose thing. I guess the javelin goes first.
I had already technically accidentally pressed Druid craft and trying to read it, so...
Yep, so I think what happens here, right, is, Russula, I think you start to cast your druid craft, and then a javelin just zoom over your shoulder, and it doesn't hit the mole, it was too powerful of a throw, and just into the fence behind the garden.
You're gonna give the mole a heart attack!
The mole drops the carrot, just like, oh no. Russula, in what way are you using this druid craft?
Everything produce. Like.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't think druid craft is quite that powerful. You know, you can make like
yeah, but right, that's just Floran.
Yeah, you're thinking of something like the plant growth spell, I think, that makes a lot of rapid growth. I mean, if you wanted to grow a specific thing, like that carrot, for example, you could do that.
Grow the carrot.
All right.
The carrot.
The javelin is like, the mole freaks out and drops the carrot. The carrot then just like doubles in size, like boing. No, it's a giant carrot, and the mole just seems shocked. And then a spectral blue hand appears on top of the mole, and kind of arcade game style, just starts going down. I would like you to roll me an Arcana check, and I'm going to contest it by the mole's dexterity saving throw. I think that is the correct way to go here. But you know what? I'm gonna give the mole disadvantage because the mole is so surprised at everything going on between the giant carrot and the javelin that was. It's just like, oh god. So go ahead and roll me your Arcana check, Granny.
All right.
A very good Arcana check. The mole got a 5. It should have had disadvantage on advantage. And so your mage hand plops right on the dome of this mole and kind of locks on, and the mole's eyes kind of look up. And what do you want to do?
Does anybody speak more?
What are you trying to do with the mole? What are you trying to do with the mole, Granny?
Why it's here and what it's doing.
Oh, you're trying to like move it?
Yeah, bring it over to us, but like
gotcha.
Floating in the air.
Your mage hand goes to like pull up, but like it can't for some reason. Like this mole is less than 10 pounds. your mage hand should be able to lift this mole, but as it pulls upward, the mole doesn't move. It's almost like it's like locked onto something underground, or like it's got itself wedged in there real good. You can't really tell, but it tries to pull upward. You try to pull it upward, it doesn't come out of the hole. And then the mole like turns and looks at you all and whoop, pulls itself back down into its hole and disappears.
Stupid mole, come back.
How big are those holes?
You see the mole pop back up and grab the carrot and then go to pull back down.
Mr. Mole, I want to ask you something.
It pauses and turns toward you with the carrot in its hands. It's got tiny little mole hands. Odowodus, you are here now, having thoroughly terrified that child.
Odowodus sees this mole trying to steal this carrot again. And it's like, you thief!
And you see that this mole has like light brown fur, and it's got the big little mole snoot, right, with like the two little holes at the end for his nose. He's got these two little tiny little eyes up on his head, and he's got his big flat hands that he's cradling the carrot with.
And is going to get very, very angry about this thieving little mole, and then wait, can I?
Reckless is unfortunately only from melee attacks.
Oh. Yeah, so just
Do you have
huck a javelin
melee
at it. I assume I'm not am I on that side, or am I on the other side?
You're actually on the other side. You're coming around by the flower garden area.
So I'll just huck a javelin at it.
Okay. Unfortunately, the javelin, it sticks in the wall right next to Clementine's javelin. Except this time, it's also, there's like a flash of light as it hits the wall because of the radiant damage. And the mole, like, just kind of like, you see almost, if this were like a television chart, the mole's head would have like followed the javelin, and you see sparkles in its eyes from the light. But yeah, apparently you've missed the mole. Would anyone else like to take another shot at the mole now that it's come back for the carrot?
Mr. Mole, I'm sorry about them, but I have a question for you. Why are you wrecking this lady's garden?
Okay, you just say that in common to the mole?
Knows common, Sylvan, Undercommon, Druidic, and Draconic, so...
Which one are you speaking to the mole? Sylvan is typically, like, you're probably your best shot here. Maybe Druidic?
Russula's gonna say it in Sylvan and Druidic.
Okay, just say it a couple of times. The mole does not, unfortunately, seem to react to your words. Clementine and Granny, would either of you two like to try something else on this mole while he is back?
Granny's gonna cast her version of magic missile called Magic Needle.
Oh, you're just shooting the mole. Oh my goodness. Oh my. All right. You blast the mole apart. You hit it for how much damage?
Seriously, with needles.
9 points of needle damage. So what do you just like throw your knitting needles and they? But of course they just are spectral magical ones.
Flow out of her arcane focus that looks like a needle.
Excellent. And yeah, you skewer the mole like 4 times into the terrain behind it, and you see it just is skewered there. Clementine, would you like to do anything?
Can I do like a rapier thing?
No. Yeah, if you want to run over to him, yeah, you could. Because I imagine you moved toward it last turn, but you could run the rest of the way and try and skewer it if you'd like.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, you just run up and you hit him.
Heck yeah!
And as you stab down at the already dead mole, but that's okay. Go ahead and hit the rapier button in the chat to roll your damage on that.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
All good. Another 5. You guys have got this poor mole for 14 total damage. You obliterate this mole, and a couple of interesting things happen because the magic needles, right after they hit it, they kind of dissipate because they're magical. Your rapier sticks right in, and as all of that happens at the end of the turn, you've all acted. Your rapier is stuck through the mole, which is very dead, right, and impaled into the ground behind the mole. And then you feel a tugging sound, or not sound, feeling on your rapier, and you can see it like bending a little bit as the mole's body is being pulled back down into the ground. Can you roll me a strength saving throw, Clementine?
Yep.
Oh no! No, nothing really bad happens. Your rapier gets dislodged from the mole, and the dead mole body bloop, disappears into the mole hole.
Dang it.
But, like, it was totally dead. I mean, you stabbed it through. It got shot a bunch of times by magic needles. And as you're looking at your rapier, it's covered in a really weird, like, green blood.
That's not normal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you all kind of gather. Oh, the carrot's there, by the way. The carrot's back. Because the carrot didn't get taken down.
Granny's gonna try to identify the liquid.
All right. How are you gonna do that, Granny? I'm very curious. What's your strategy?
Well, she's gonna. I'm gonna guess that it's probably magical in nature.
Uh-huh.
So she's going to do an Arcana check.
Ah, gotcha. To see if it has any magical properties or anything of the sort.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, Granny, you kind of make your way over. Is Granny kind of slow moving?
Yes, she moves 25 feet.
Of course, right.
Who's gonna walk with her?
Her max speed is 25.
Yeah, you forgot you were using that stat block, Granny. Yeah, so you slowly make your way over, and do you, like, crouch down and, like, look at the blood on the rapier, or do you, like, ask Clementine to let you see it and investigate it that way?
Just kind of grab it and look at it. Grab it right there.
The old lady walks over and grabs your rapier out of your hands. I think
like she grabs that. No, she like grabs Clementine's hand and look at the rapier.
Oh, excellent.
Back.
No, so the old lady just kind of like grabs your hands and moves it so that she can see the and yeah, she's looking at you're looking at it, and you're an experienced wizard. You've seen a lot of strange blood before. And your first hunch that there's something magical going on here, I mean, fair, right? Most blood is red, not green. But beyond that, there's a weird, almost like tackiness to the blood, a stickiness that it is very, very quickly congealing. And as you like look at it more and you kind of like, touch it or, cast some magical whatever is on it, little magical mutterings and incantations, you see it very quickly form almost into like flesh again, and after 30 seconds or so it just looks like a chunk of like mole hair. And you can see very quickly this blood with your Arcana check, you can tell this blood is probably, well, the creature this blood came from has some kind of a healing factor of some kind, a regeneration, where it can very quickly seemingly heal itself. We're regenerating moles.
The mole's not dead. It's gonna come back.
Burn it with fire.
Does anybody
burning
the
blood with fire?
Oh, we probably don't want to use fire. I mean, that would destroy Grandarf's garden.
That's a good point. What if we lure it away from the garden with the giant carrot?
The carrot is still there. And by giant, I don't mean it's like a gargantuan carrot. It's just maybe like twice the size of a normal carrot. So pretty big.
Well,
Think of
you don't know what
the
caused
biggest carrot you've ever
these
seen.
moles to appear in your garden in the first place either. I mean, for all we know, those morts had something to do with it, with their fertilizer. Why don't we go check that out next? I mean, she did mention
Yeah, I
it.
agree.
So let's
Okay.
go check that fertilizer.
Yeah, and I think we'll say that you, in talking to Grandarf earlier, maybe learned a little bit about the layout of the garden. Or actually, you can probably just see, right, that in the way back corner, right, there's a couple of big bags of fertilizer out in the back of the garden that obviously weren't needed, right? And they're just kind of sitting there in a heap in the back. So you guys want to make your way over?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Going over there to
Yep. Odowodus will make his way over and continue chopping at holes.
So what are you doing with the holes? Just like...
I'm just like, yeah, just angrily, just like stabbing holes.
Well, I think all of you see a couple of moles as you're walking over. You see like 2 or 3 poke their heads up, and some of them are looking at you, but like you see one of them reaching up, like, and it's like stretching up from the hole up toward a big old flower, a big old like colorful snapdragon flower that's growing up in the garden, and it's just like mouth is kind of open as it's just stretching up toward the flower. Do you guys want to do anything, or do you continue toward the fertilizer?
Odowodus is absolutely going to try and completely pulverize that poor mole.
intimidate it.
Okay.
Granny's just gonna head to the.
And he's going to do this recklessly.
Well, I'd like all of you to roll for initiative first. There are 3 moles that you can see currently. You see one of them is back around where the dead mole just was, and it's looking for the carrot, but you have the carrot now. Might be the same dead mole, who knows? You see one that is like stretching up, going for the snapdragon flower, and you see another one that is over by the window, and it's just kind of looking at the pie that's cooling up on the windowsill. I'm going to roll for the mole's initiative. All right. Cold Spark, which that's Odowodus. You were the first one to go. What would you like to do? You can see those 3 moles. The nearest one to you is probably the one over by like the hole that where the carrot was, or the snapdragon, the one going for the flower.
Yeah, the snapdragon. Because
the one by the window is about 30 feet, which is pretty tough in this difficult terrain.
Yeah, I mean, I was over by the flowers anyways, from having gone around and terrified a child.
Yeah, of course, exactly. Sure. So it's your turn. You rush toward the one of the flowers. Okay. As you do so, it looks at you in shock. Seemingly seeing you.
Yes. And I am going to absolutely attempt to pulverize this mole.
Okay. You run forward with your hand axe. Oh God! And you you're like, as it's stretching up, you're swinging at it like a tree. No pun intended. And you hit it for 15 points of damage. And you chop the mole in half at its base. And it just flops dead on the ground. And you can see the other half of the mole underground, which what it should be, right, is just the little feet left under there. But it seems to be just a very long mole. It's like a long cat, but a mole. And you don't see back legs, and you see that back part just retract into the hole as you cut the top part of it off, which is now just lying on the ground. There's like a splurt of that green blood. Next in the initiative, Clementine, what would you like to do? Odowodus has just killed one of the moles.
Is that one closer to me, or?
Well, there's one that's about 15 feet from you, and that's back by the hole where the carrot was. I'm sorry, it's the mole's turns. No, the moles all pull underground. I'm sorry. They all leave. But you did see
right
one.
before you did that.
You could go looking for it if you want, if you're going to go looking in the hole.
Yeah, I'll go digging in the hole.
Okay, you run back and you don't see it. Do you have dark vision?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you don't, yeah, because you're human. You don't see it at first. You want to just stab wildly down the hole with your javelin or something?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make me an attack roll with the javelin as you just stab down toward it. Oh my gosh!
Nice.
Beautiful! So you just...
That is amazing.
And you just hear a, like, horrible, like, squeak. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Here we go.
Oh, yes. So you just hear that horrible, like, squeak sound, and as you pull your javelin back out, it is just dripping with blood. Again, the weird, like, gooey green blood. And it looks like you hit him, even though he tried to go back down. I guess, Kokla, it's your turn. Two of your friends have just dashed back toward the guard. I'm sorry, Russula. My brain is a potato right now. I am a mole. No, Russula, yeah, as you look around, you can see two of your allies have dealt with two of the moles that popped up, but another one's over by the windowsill looking at that pie. It's 30 feet away from you, though, so it's pretty far off.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
So.
You're also like right near the fertilizer if you want to just say, screw it, I'm looking at the fertilizer.
I don't want the mole to get the pie. Do this.
You're casting an entangle at the pie mole. All right. What's the saving throw it has to roll?
I think
it's a strength save.
I'm sorry. What's the DC it has to get against your spell save?
save is 13.
13. It does not. The vines tangle around the mole. And actually, you catch the mole in a really weird spot because as you cast your entangle, it's just continuing to stretch upwards to the point where the body of this mole is stretched like 3 feet out of the hole, and it's really frightening looking to a degree. And then your vines entangle around it, and it just starts wiggling wildly. Kind of like one of those inflatable like air wigglers that they put outside of like car dealerships or something like that. That's kind of what this long mole. Exactly.
This is disturbing me.
It is disturbing. It's very discomforting. It's a very long mole, but it is thoroughly entangled. Granny, what would you like to do? You see the entangled mole that was reaching for the pie.
Let's see. Granny's gonna attempt to put the mole reaching for the pie to sleep.
Interesting. You cast your spell of sleep, but unfortunately, it seems to not take any hold upon the long mole. It continues to flail wildly.
Granny's gonna use her movement towards the fertilizer.
Yeah, you make your way over to the fertilizer, Granny, and as you get over there, you can see a couple of things. There are a couple of bags, like big old, 20-pound bags of fertilizer back here that were just kind of left. But in the middle, where they all would be a heap, they're all torn open. And you just see, like, distressed, roughed up fertilizer. Do you want to start digging through it?
Yeah.
Okay, you just start moving stuff aside. We'll come back to that on your turn.
All right.
The top of the initiative, Odowodus, there is a wiggly mole thing. What would you like to do? Odowodus?
Oh, that might help.
The unmute button.
Odowodus will move not so much towards the pie mole that's entangled, but a little bit more into the middle of the garden so that he can then go to any of them.
Okay.
And then fire a javelin off towards this ball. Yes. Unless there are any others that are...
You don't see any others right now.
Yes.
Oh, one thing that you probably would have noticed, and you have an advantage on that attack. Actually, it doesn't matter. You actually hit it still with the 10. The wiggly mole dies as you javelin it to the side of the house. One of the things you would have noticed, Odowodus, as you looked at the stump, half body of the dead mole, is the bottom half of it seals, where you cut, seals up and grows into a mole, like the bottom half of a mole. So it looks like just a dead mole now. It's got a little back leggies and everything. But yeah, you seem to, at this point, have killed all of the moles. As you all take a minute and, I guess, regroup. No more pop-up quite yet. But Odowodus, actually, we'll get to you in a second. Granny Serialmassacre. You're digging through the fertilizer, and as you are doing so, you find something strange. A white, piece of glass, almost? And you keep digging, and there's another one, and no, this isn't glass, this is eggshell? And you uncover what appears to be a pretty big, egg that has hatched in the fertilizer. It's maybe the size of a loaf of bread. It seems to have been packaged in one of the bags of fertilizer, but apparently it's hatched and broken out. You can see the egg has kind of a soft, kind of white complexion with little green splotches on it.
Do I recognize what type of egg it is?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say no, probably not.
Could I attempt to identify it with a nature check?
Yeah, I think a nature check could probably help you.
All right.
Yeah, not off the top, you're not really thinking about anything.
I also attempt to identify it out of Russula's curious nature.
Yeah, I mean, here's the idea, right? If you as players have suspicions, feel free to take them. They're yours. You can run with them. But as characters, you're looking at it, and there are so many creatures that hatch from eggs, and none of them look like weird moles.
I know I used my action to try and identify it. So...
But yeah, as you gather around, and so you're all kind of looking at this egg, right? Odowodus, you're standing in the middle of the yard at attention, ready for anything.
Yes.
You feel the ground shake underneath you. Just...
Uh-oh.
And yeah, you all kind of feel that a little bit. What do you want to do?
I am not going prone.
I'm just gonna take shelter near Odowodus, because he's a tree, so I want to hug a tree.
I'm Odowodus.
All right, so
I'm Odowodus.
So Russula and Clementine run toward Odowodus. Russula, you start climbing Odowodus. Odowodus, are you okay with being climbed?
I am fine. I have had bunny folk up in my branches before. It is
excellent.
Not particularly concerning.
Okay. In that case, Russula, can you roll me an athletics check to climb up Odowodus? And okay, you're climbing up Odowodus, and Clementine, are you just taking a defensive formation? Is that the idea?
Yes, but I'm hugging him at the same time, so...
Yes, of course, of course. And Odowodus, would you like to do anything? This is like in the 6 seconds when you feel the ground shake.
Yeah. I mean, I will also then ready a greatsword.
Okay, so you just have a ready like action to attack.
To attack something that appears within range of me chopping it.
And Clementine, you're on the defense, not the attack, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, Granny, all of your friends just ran across the yard to hide with your friend, where you're left by the fertilizer with this egg that you have no idea what this could be. I think if you want, you could roll an Arcana check, just because there might be a magical nature, and I'd give you advantage from your successful check earlier, but that would be your action if you'd like to do that.
I would like to do that.
And you just felt the ground shake dramatically under you.
Well, Granny can't move too fast, so she will...
Okay.
So she will take that.
Okay. Granny, you're looking at this eggshell, and like, what is it? And then the green dots, the regenerating blood, the long, wiggly moles, and you realize there's only one creature this could be. This is some weird mole hydra. And as you realize this, the ground shakes, and erupting from the earth around Odowodus are 5 wiggly mole tentacle arm head things. You see, they appear to be the 5 necks of this horrible mole hydra. Actually, it is now 7 necks of the terrible mole hydra, or 8 as you have killed 3 of them. Okay.
Oh no.
So let's get the show on the road here.
Do we also see a body or no?
Not currently. The mole hydra is just there. Granny, good job that you were alone, because everyone else grouped up, so the mole hydra went for them. So the 8 necks of this giant underground hydra erupt, and you see now they're like 20 feet, 15 feet long, erupting from the earth, these long, wiggly, furry necks with the terrifying mole tops to them. But you see, like, the whole body of the mole kind of split open with the terrible teeth within. Some kind of terrifying eldritch monster. It's going to make attacks against all of you guys there. But first, Odowodus, you have a ready attack.
Yes.
Go ahead and make a swing at one of the heads. You cleave one of the heads.
I'm trying to hit the body.
The body's somewhere underground. You don't see it right now.
I don't see it as it's like opening a mouth at me.
No. The mouth is on the end of all of the necks.
Okay.
Because all of the moles, moles.
Okay, then I'm just completely destroying one of these mole heads, I guess.
Okay. I mean, if you want, you can try and like stab into the ground, presuming the rest of the hydra is beneath it.
Yeah,
but that would be
a
much harder check.
Yeah, I am looking to try and go after the body.
Okay. And are you attacking Oh, you can't attack recklessly because it was a ready attack. Roll me with disadvantage then, because you cannot see the body of this creature. Unfortunately, you stab into the ground, and you feel a chunk as apparently you hit some rock buried in the ground, not quite connecting with the body of the mole hydra. But I appreciate the strat. The heads now attack. So, Odowodus, you have 3 heads going at you. One of them goes ka-cha, ka-cha. Oh, I'm sorry. So that's 3 attacks: a 6, a 14, and a 4. Did any of those hit you, Odowodus?
Well, the 4 auto misses, but neither of the other 2 does. It's me.
Excellent. We have 3 attacks going at Clementine, which they're attacking with disadvantage because, Clementine, you took the dodge action. So that's oh my gosh. A 21 with disadvantage. It bites at you for 4 piercing, and then its second attack. Oh. Head. a 7, which misses you only because of your dodge action. And, oh my gosh, why am I lagging so bad? Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
hear
it
you.
must be roll 20 then. It's roll 20 then. All right, so only one of them connects with you, Clementine, 4 piercing damage. The other 2 heads go up toward you, Russula. 1 fewer than the other head.
Wait.
Oh, actually, Russula, with your 2 athletics check, you, as the earth trembles and the heads erupt, you fall onto the ground. And
Remember, one of the heads... Oh, right. No, I didn't do that.
Yep, you went for the body
That was-
instead.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. I respect it.
Confused me.
Apologies. Here are the 2 coming at you, Russula. 12 and a 15.
Only the 15 hits.
All right, it'll connect for 3 piercing damage as this horrible eldritch mole bites. Oh, horrible tentacle mole bites you. The ground, of course, trembling as these attacks happen. All right, that is Odowodus. Oh, sorry, that's the Mole Hydra. We're now on to Odowodus' turn.
All right. And now I'm going to rage again because I'm going to assume that it has been more than whatever was left of the minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to rather than using my greatsword, try a couple times with hand axes to go after the body.
Okay, so you're just basically you've just picked one of the holes that the moles have ripped out of, and you're just like, gah, gah, you're like swinging down toward it.
Exactly.
Excellent. Go ahead, and I think you're doing an offhand attack, right?
Well, oh no, actually, I'm actually going to use the greatsword because I bonus action to rage.
Oh, right. Good call. Cool. So go ahead. And is this a reckless attack?
No.
Okay. Unfortunately, the 14 just barely misses them as you stab down once again. And this time you see it, right? You see it for just a second down the mole hole, the wriggling of the body under the earth. It seems to be a solid, like, maybe 2 or 3 feet under. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Odowodus, now that you have gone into a rage and attacked?
Nope, because I don't have any speed.
Cool. Clementine, have you taken root?
Yes, I took root as the...
Ah,
I took root when the ground was shaking.
that is a very good move, actually. All right, Clementine, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm going to use my rapier again.
Okay. You swing with the rapier. Are you going for one of the heads, or are you trying to do what Odowodus is doing and stab into the ground?
I'm trying to stab in the ground.
Okay. Go ahead. It's a disadvantaged attack, unfortunately. Oh, no. And as you stab down into the mole hole, once again, you barely see the wriggling body beneath. And unfortunately, you miss with that attack. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Clementine?
Can I rage?
Absolutely. Just let out a raged scream.
Yep.
Excellent. Russula, what would you like to do? You're currently prone because you fell off of Odowodus.
I'd like to be not prone.
Okay, you stand up, no problem.
And then, how close are the heads to me?
I mean, they're surrounding you. Like, you and Clementine and Russula are in the middle of the garden, and these 8 heads have erupted on all sides around you. You're pretty much just like back to back, stuck in here with them, as these heads have erupted around
Russula and Clementine and Russula are all in there.
you. Russula, Clementine, and Odowodus.
All right. Then, in front of me.
Ooh, you unleash a poison spray. And is this like, do you like blow this out? You just kind of like shake your mushroom top and these spores just ploof out? What is this like?
It's my hands. I'm gonna put them out and then just clap.
Excellent. There's a poof of poisonous smoke. Not smoke, but spore and poison, I guess. All right, what's the save? It's con. Oh man, they're very good at con. Yeah, unfortunately, very high roll, but it succeeded on its save, taking no damage from the poison spray. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Russula? You still have 15 feet of movement because all you did is stood up.
Get out of the center, I could, but that would probably provoke,
a lot of attacks of opportunity.
So no.
You want to try and climb up Odowodus?
Maybe get closer to Odowodus to use him as a field.
You know what? I think because he's taken root, I'm going to say you can do that. He'll take more of the hits than you will.
He's small. He's big.
Yeah. All right, Granny, it's your move. Your friends are surrounded by doom. What would you like to do?
Granny's gonna use her movement to head back towards the house.
Okay.
And use her action to cast her version of Chill Touch, which is Chill Mitten. So instead of a ghostly hand, it's a ghostly mitten.
It's like an oven mitt kind of deal.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This ghastly mitten appears into existence and slaps one of the heads, or lightly bats one of the heads, which, as it strikes, you see the head wither and die. Simply a husk.
And it can't regain, and now the Chill Hydra can't regain hit points.
It can't regain hit points. That's a very important thing to note. I'm going to actually make a note on there. Chill touched. All right. And is there anything else you'd like to do, Granny?
No.
All right.
Her moving back towards the house and attacking the Hydra, no.
All right, cool. So you're most of the way toward the house. You're about 10 feet from the back of the house right now. You're a little closer than the rest of the group, but you're not quite there.
Okay.
It is now the Mole Hydra's turn. Let's see. Okay, so the Mole Hydra is going to make a bunch of attacks. One of the heads is going to withdraw into the ground, and it is the one next to you, Clementine. Would you like to take an attack of opportunity against that head?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. It is very fast, but you are just a bit faster as you swing with that rapier. Go ahead and give me the damage. Oh, wow. Okay, you kill it. You stab it right through, the green blood splurting all over the place, almost running kind of black from the necrotic damage that Granny just did. And that head withers and dies. You hear a deep rumbling from under the earth of rage. And of the 6 remaining heads, they are just going to redouble their efforts going after you two, Clementine and Odowodus. So Clementine, going after you first. You dealt it damage, so it's going to attack you with advantage. It will bite at you 3 times, which I think it only hits one of those. Does 14 hit you?
Yeah. Yep.
The 14 does? Or doesn't?
The 14 does, yeah.
Okay, so that's a total of, and you're raging, right? So you're going to take half damage.
Yeah, and does the 21 too?
Yeah, the 21 definitely will. So it's only going to do 2 damage from the bite, the first bite, and 1 damage from there. So you take 3 total damage after your rage. Really not really that much after the rage. And then it's going to make 3 attacks against Odowodus. Well, actually 2 attacks against Odowodus. And Odowodus, you haven't dealt damage to it, so it does not attack you with advantage. But it still is going to get you with one of them, 22 for 5 piercing, and a 19 for 5 more piercing. Damn.
So a total of 4.
Total of 4, yeah, because you're raging. And then 1 attack is going toward you, Russula, as this 3rd molehead goes to bite at you. And it rolls a natural 10.
An armor class of 13.
You dive behind Odowodus like, oh no! And it hits the trunk and kind of deflects off. this long, wiggly hydra neck. That is all the Mole Hydra does on its turn. However, as its turn ends, you notice a couple of things. You see the withered head that was chill touched. The neck is still wriggling around, and you see almost erupting from the withered, necrotized head of that mole 2 more heads, and you see the neck just split down the middle and form into 2 more distinct necks. Which is horrifying. The same kind of thing happens where you stab it through with your rapier, Clementine. It almost like the rapier, as it pulls down, almost unzips it, right, splitting it into 2 wriggling halves of a neck. But those regrow into 2 more heads. Currently, there are 10 heads on this Mole Hydra, albeit it did not regain any hit points, which is probably important to note. And we're at the top of the initiative. 10-headed Mole Hydra. Odowodus, what would you like to do?
Now we're dropping the great sword and moving to hand axes.
Mm-hmm.
And going after the body.
Okay, yeah, you still see it under there. It's very hard to get at because of all the earth and everything around. But maybe. And oh man! First hand axe, not doing it, Odowodus. Oh, I'm sorry, my dude. You crouch down and you cleave once and you cleave a second time, and you almost hit your own roots as everything's being jostled around so much here. And unfortunately, neither hit. Sorry, my dude.
Oh well.
Well, at least you're taking all the hits for poor Russula. Clementine, it's your move. What would you like to do?
I'll do the same thing. I'll put a hand axe.
Okay, all right. Just following after Odowodus' lead. You take out your hand axes, and oh no! All right. You want to make your offhand hand axe attacks? That'd be your second hand.
Where do I do that?
Okay, just click the hand axe button again. It's going to be pretty much the same. That one will actually hit. So Odowodus, as you two are swinging around with your hand axes, right? There's a deflection as you accidentally hit each other's hand axes going for the same place. Kind of like an awkward, like, oops moment. But then Clementine, you grab your other hand axe and just go, yeah, and swing down the hole in this moment of awkwardness, and you hit the body of the Mole Hydra. Go ahead and roll that damage. Oh, nice. Very nice. All right, 25. And no heads die. All right. Anything else you would like to do this evening?
Nope.
All right, we move to Russula. What would you like to do? There are now 10 horrible Mole Hydra heads.
Try and set one on fire.
Alrighty, you will up a produce flame in your hand and blast it out at one of the necks, and you hit it. It has got no protection at all up here. And yeah, you hit him with this produce flame. Go ahead and roll your fire damage. 5 points.
I accidentally hit that twice.
That's all right. As you hit it with the fire, you all hear the ground shake dramatically under you, and you hear a deep, almost like groan, as that like neck that you hit with the produced flame burns away. Like the whole neck almost just burns up into ash, as that head is permanently destroyed. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Russula?
Nope, that's gonna keep by Odowodus.
We're just staying like...
Use the tall guy to distract him from the small guy.
All right. Granny, what would you like to do? You've learned fire seems to be a very effective tool against this guy.
Sadly, Granny has no fire spells.
Well, I mean, your necrotic magic was also pretty good.
Yeah. Granny's going to cast Chill Mitten again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You swing a chill mitten at this, and nice rolls, man. Well, you can't. Hey, at least it won't heal. As your chillmitten
That's the important part.
bats it.
Doesn't heal.
Yeah. And is there anything else you'd like to do, Granny? You're right by that. You're near the house. Do you want to just go in the back door inside?
Yeah.
You just walk inside the house, just kind of looking out through the door. You hear in the other room, Grandarf is still asleep. The Mole Hydra does not
But Granny has a plan now.
Yeah, Mole Hydra does not regrow any of its heads because of the fire, and it doesn't regain any hit points because of the Chillmitten. So the Mole Hydra has 9 heads left, and it will unleash an onslaught of attacks against its assaulters. Right side Odowodus, it doesn't have advantage against you because you haven't hit it, so it bites at Odowodus 3 times, which it rolls a 7, a 16, and another 16. Dang.
So 2.
Yeah, total of 2. However, it will attack with advantage against Russula with 4 of its heads. So Russula, it's going at you because it is livid. Oh no! The first one is a critical hit, biting at you.
Down.
Oh no! The first head just stabs into you, Russula, and begins to flail around, like throwing you to and fro. In that case, the other 3 heads are going to turn onto you, Clementine, who also dealt it damage last turn. Oh goodness! So it's used 4 of its attacks. It has another 5. So let's say Russula, Clementine. Here are the 5 attacks coming at you. A 15.
That hits.
For one damage after your rage. A 9, which misses.
Nope.
A crit, which gets you for what, 2 after the rage? Does the 15 get you?
Yeah.
All right, that's another 2 damage after the rage. And an 18 for another 2 damage after the rage. How are you looking, Clementine?
How much was that?
I count 2.
2, and 1. 7 in total.
Yeah, 7 total.
I'm still up.
How badly are you injured, though?
9 hit points left.
Oh, you're fine. All right, we go to the top of the initiative. Odowodus, you see your friend Russula has been brought low by the Mole Hydra.
Okay. It is time to stop futzing around with the body and just go straight for its heads.
You see, like, Russula is being thrown or whipped around by one of the heads right now. And it's actually starting to, like, retract it down, like it's going to pull them under the earth.
Yeah, that one first.
Alrighty. Is this a reckless attack or a normal attack?
Well, with any luck, I'm going to hit it anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's reckless.
Alrighty. You, with a loud tree-ish roar, I guess, you swing and connect, finally. A retributive strike. Oh man, and what a strike. A bright flash of radiance as you connect for 12 points. Oh man. All right, that head is severed clean off. Russula's body kind of drops into one of your branches.
And now one of these other heads.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah, you totally hit with that guy. And is that the correct? Wow, that is max damage on that hit. For a total of 8?
Yes.
And I know you said you weren't going for the body, but I'm wondering in what world, right? How do you finish off the Mole Hydra? Because you kill him. You guys stopped his regeneration twice. So what's your move on
down the neck and all the way down through the body.
Oh, beautiful. So you just and it kind of cleaves right down the middle. And I imagine you almost like reach out with your roots, right, tearing open the ground in front of you as you just continue to cleave down. And in but a moment, this Mole Hydra, no longer a threat, lies slain in the grounds of Grandarf's backyard. The yard is ruined. but the garden's in pretty good shape.
Okay.
As you all take a moment to breathe, you notice, oh wait, crap, Russula's still dying.
Granny can save Russula, but she doesn't need to work on her plan now. So she is going to give Russula a potion of greater healing.
As you go to do that, Grandarf's like, don't worry, I have a spare in here you can have. As Granny, you heal up old your friend Russula. Russula, you come to looking around in probably a lot of pain. You got bit real bad by that mole. Turns out maybe you're poisonous because now it's dead. Who knows? I guess you were unconscious, so you can't find out. And as you all kind of regather out in the back of Grandarf's yard, you hear the click, click of Grandarf's cane apparently having awoken. She walks up next to you, Granny Serialmassacre. Oh, what? Did you deal with the moles?
Well, it wasn't a mole, but a mole hydra. Apparently, there was an egg in that fertilizer.
Oh, those dastardly morts, always trying to get at me somehow. Well, we showed them.
Yes, I'm sure Russo would love to help you. God. She's such a good druid.
And Odowodus is just like Druid crafting all of
What is Druid? What's Odowodus already like starting to put things back? Like,
yes.
It's okay, flowers. It's okay.
That will help because Russula is a druid.
Yes, exactly. So if you all do that, Grandarf says, well, thank you all so much for your help. Well, I suppose I was going to save that pie for later, but if you all like to take it with you, I'm sure you can find some good use for it.
If you don't mind, I'd like to take the what remains of the more hydra. I mean, you never know what magical component his body might have.
Granny, you and Grandarf have like walked outside and you're looking at the big like now pit in the ground that has this dead mole hydra. If you can get it out of here, it's yours. Well, and she kind of reaches into her little purse and opens it up and takes out a thick wad of Bartholomew bucks. I believe these are yours. And she hands each of you your pay, 100 Bartholomew bucks. And I know that contradicts what I said earlier about Bartholomew paying you, but whatever. And yeah, with that, you have completed this ridiculous adventure. Congratulations, and I hope you all had some fun. I definitely did. I see more than one of you are ready for boss battles now. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, thanks for playing, guys.
Gary's just going to drag the corpse behind her.
In a weird, a terrifying feat of strength, Granny Massacre pulls the carcass up and just walks away.
Odowodus is like secretly taking a bunch of the corpse behind her.
Oh dear.
Gary's just dragging it along.
And
yeah. Be like...
Just me. Well, I mean, Grandarf gives you the pie to bring back to the orphanage, Russula.
Hey,
for the
kids will be so happy.
And Clementine, you're just like, Grandarf just goes, well, thank you. I don't have anything to really offer you. If you want to help work in my garden, sure. But I usually pay gardeners for that.
No problem. Yeah, I don't need any more pay.
All right. And yeah, congrats, guys. Would any of you like to shop really quick?
Yeah.
All right, we head over. If you need a magic item you know where to shop, just head on down. It's your only choice. To Bartholomew's shop. Do-do-do-do. Greetings, adventurers. What can I do for you?
Granny would like to do a bag pull.
Granny. Well, I wish you only the best of luck. As Bartholomew shakes up the bag. It's been very trying lately. People have been getting some very good things out of this bag. It's supposed to, be kind of a bait and switch thing where I tell you the great things in here, and then you pull from it and you'd only get bad things. But people have been getting the very good things, and it's been upsetting me lately. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know.
All right. Go ahead and roll me that D1000, and we'll see what cool item you pull out of the bag. At Bartholomew's chagrin.
And it's rolling.
Oh my gosh. And a 665. Nothing terrifying about that. You. Jeez, you're gonna give Bartholomew a heart attack one of these days. You reach into the bag, and what the hell? Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, you reach into the bag, and as you do, you're fiddling around, and you think for a minute. You grab a yarn ball, and you're like, ooh, I could, oh, nope, all gone. Oh, well, you keep reaching, and a sword. I'm an old lady and a wizard, so you don't touch the sword. And finally, as you can feel the closing of the bag around your arm, you can feel your time is nigh. You grab a piece of paper, and you pull it out, and it's a sticker shaped like a lightning bolt. And Bartholomew goes, crap. Well, that is a sticker of lightning resistance. Stickers like this come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and can be affixed to or removed from your armor or clothing. And it requires attunement, and it just gives you resistance to lightning damage. It's just a magical, you can just stick it on your armor and go for it. And you have pulled the sticker of lightning resistance. Congrats. Yeah, congrats. I'd be pretty pleased with that.
Oh.
What a wacky item. Congratulations. Would anyone else like to put anything?
I would like to try. Please.
Of course, Russula. I am, once again, wish you the absolute best. Go ahead and roll me a D1000 in our chat, and we'll see what crazy item you pull out of the bag. That is I will put the command in there. It is a /R space 1D1000. Oh, that, except it's got a 0 at the end.
Okay.
1D1000. So there are many item in this bag. A 571. Geez, you guys are rolling pretty hot. Russula, you waddle your way over and reach your fungly arm into the bag. You're fiddling around at first, and I'm sorry, that was a 571. Okay. And at first, your hand touches a bow. Nah, we don't care about bows here. And you reach for something else. Your hand touches, after that, what on earth even is this? Okay, you reach and almost grab a second bow, but this one has like knives taped to the sides of it. You don't grab that one either. And eventually, your hand settles upon a ring. Okay, sure, whatever, we'll grab it. And you pull out a square black and white, well, actually, I'm sorry, this is a simple silver ring is what you pull out. And as you look at it, Bartholomew goes, oh, that's a weird one. And you can see on one side, it's got a black and white crest of some part just etched onto it. But looking at it, you can't seem to make any comprehension of what is etched onto this crest. It's just completely incomprehensible and unrecognizable. It just seems like a chaotic jumble of lines and shapes. And you have pulled the Ring of Unorthodox Excellence. This is a really weird ring, so give me a moment to, like, if I fumble this. Well, it's an attunement
Let's
item.
re-roll if you fumble.
It's an attunement item. And while you wear it, you are briefly overwhelmed by a tumultuous realization that the world is a lie and two 20-something-year-old men decide the laws of reality. But then you abruptly return to your senses. If you attune to the ring, it grants you advantage on all ability checks in which you do not already have disadvantage if that ability check uses an ability score which is different from its default ability score. So, for example, if you have to make a charisma check, like a charisma stealth check to blend in a crowd or something like that. This is a really weird one.
How interesting.
Or if you have to make an athletics animal handling check to like ride a bull or something. It's a really whack item.
Very interesting.
Wow.
Very, very strange.
Yeah.
Bartholomew goes, wow, that was weird. I just had a really strange vision looking at that.
Nothing that I don't already think of, so.
You should really see someone about that then. Who the hell is Czerny? Anyway, congratulations, Russula. I wish you only the best. Would anyone else like a weird pull?
Oh, a weird pull may be interesting.
Excellent. Another one to buy in. 444. Thank God someone got below 500. Otherwise, I would have died. All right. As you reach in, what the hell? Oh, that's a weird one. All right. It's a weird pull, boys. Yeah, and the first thing that your hand touches as you reach into the bag appears to be, it's slimy, and it's like, is it a frog? And then you feel it just kind of like ribbit almost, and you accidentally let go of it. It's gone. And you go, oh man, you reach again, and it's a mug, and you go to pull it out, but then you like feel liquid pour out of it, like, oh, I spilled it. Oops, you let go of that. And finally, your hand settles upon something more solid as you begin to feel the bag closing around you, knowing your time is nigh, and you grasp a stone tablet. And you pull it out. It's small. It's about the size of a baseball card. And as you look at it, you see the depiction of what looks like a mind flayer and like a dramatic pose. And you have pulled the Dungeon Master's collectible trading card number 9, the Mind Flayer. Bartholomew has been working on his collection for quite a while before he accidentally dropped it into the bag. These cards have immense value, and as such, Bartholomew is required to accept the item as payment if you would like to try another pull from the bag. If you do, the card will be put back into the bag. But it's worthwhile to consider that these cards will be worth a lot someday, so you might want to just keep it. And you have one of our several Dungeon Master's collectible trading cards. And of course, you can always put it back in the future if you want to think on it.
Yeah, I think I'll think on it.
Well, if you ever do, want to put it back, that's I would like my card back. Someday. Put a lot of time and effort into curating my collection. Is that a no?
That is a no for now, at least.
Very well. Good day, Odowodus. Bedraggled and befuddled. And if that is the end of our shopping for this evening, we'll be right back with our final game of the evening, a boss battle. So stay tuned, folks. We will see you in just a few minutes.